Welcome to the Truman Charities podcast, a community of caring. I am Jamie Truman, your host. I'm one of the co-founders of Truman Charities. Our organization has raised over $1 million for several different charities as we share our message of helping others and paying it forward. We plan to continue to educate our audience on the culture of giving. On this podcast, I will interview fellow charity founders, volunteers, sponsors, and other people in the community who will share their stories. You will hear and be inspired by their selflessness and passion for helping others. Welcome to another episode of A Community of Caring. I am ready to introduce my guest today, President and CEO of Easterseals of the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, Jon Horowitch. How are you, Jon?
Great to meet you, Jamie. I'm doing well, thanks.
Oh, good. So, Jon, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided that Easterseals would be a good fit for you to be CEO and president?
Well, I actually got involved with Easterseals originally as a volunteer through serving on the board. So my fundraising experience was I went to Dartmouth for business school and served as the class agent. And after doing that for about 15 years, realized that I wanted to get more involved in something that was serving the community. And at that time, I was working at Capital One, and they have a program where they place their executives onto boards of nonprofits that they support. And so when I went to them and said I was interested, they gave me a list of organizations to visit. And I got very excited about Easterseals because of two things. One, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and we do a lot of work to support children from moderate income families to help them be prepared to succeed in school and life. And also at the time, my mom had recently been diagnosed with cancer, and I really didn't know, was I going to put her in a nursing home? Was I going to go get a home health aide? And we have a program called Medical Adult Daycare that I had never seen or heard of. And when I saw it, I was just blown away. And so I joined the board, served on the board for about 6 years, and then came to work here as the COO. And then after doing that for about 5 years, the previous CEO retired. And after the board did a search, they chose me to become the new CEO.
Oh my gosh, that's quite a story. Now, I'm really excited to kind of go into some of the programs that you were talking about, especially the one that involved, that touched you with your mom, and then obviously with the children that you were talking about. So we're going to touch into that a little bit later. But I wanted to ask you, because a lot of people ask me this, what does Easterseals mean?
So the name was actually chosen. The organization was founded 102 years ago in 1919. And when it was originally started, it was the National Crippled Children's Society. And there was a gentleman named Edgar Allen in the town of Elyria, Ohio, which is outside of Cleveland. And he had a son who was injured in a streetcar accident. And unfortunately, there was not the right kind of hospital in the town, and his son died. And so he devoted himself to fundraising to build a new hospital. And then after the hospital was built, he was visiting and saw that there were what in those days were called the crippled children locked up in these hospital wards. And he started asking questions like, why are these children here? They don't seem sick. Mm-hmm. And he was told, well, they have to be segregated. They can't be part of the community. And he knew that was wrong. So he started the society to help promote independence and inclusion for people with disabilities. And in the 1930s, they started using Easterseals, which were little stamps that you would put on your Easter cards, as a fundraising program. And over time, as the organization grew and added services for adults and veterans and military family members and people with mental illness and other needs, the name Crippled Children's Society really didn't fit anymore. And since the organization was so well known for the Easterseals, that became the name of the organization. But we're totally non-denominational and serve, everyone, regardless of religion or anything.
Yeah, I think that name is so cute, but and I read it on your website and I was like, you know what? People have to hear this story because it's really touching. I love it. So can you tell me a little bit? So we talked about, how Easterseals got started. Can we talk about your child development program? Because I think it's really important.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it is really important because, one of the things that we really focus on is delivering things that have a proven impact. And when you look at early childhood education and child development, it's one of the most important things for ensuring that children have long-term success, both in school and then ultimately in life. And so we run inclusive child development programs that serve children from birth until kindergarten. And when we say inclusive, we really mean inclusive. So we are serving children with disabilities, including autism, Down syndrome, children from low-income families who are at risk of not succeeding the way that children from higher income families do, children of veterans and military families and wounded warriors, as well as typically developing children right in our communities. And the wonderful thing is by bringing everybody together, both the children and the families really get to know each other, understand and see modeling of appropriate behaviors for children with disabilities, or for typically developing children really learn that children with disabilities have lots of abilities and can be their friends. And, it's really a great thing. And for particularly, our military families, it's really a nice chance for them to connect with the broader community. These days, only about 1% of families have someone who serves in the military. And often they can be isolated in the community. And by being part of a community of other families with lots of young children, they really build relationships with others in their neighborhoods.
So can you tell me a little bit so you have a particular curriculum that you guys do, which is a creative curriculum. What is that?
So this is really related to our focus on, our vision is to create a hopeful, inclusive community where all people realize their potential and live meaningful lives. And when we talk about realizing potential and living a meaningful life, really what we mean by that is helping each of the individuals and families that we serve achieve what they want and not saying, oh, we're Easterseals, we know what's best for you. Mm-hmm. And so the creative curriculum is really designed to be a research validated curriculum to ensure that children are achieving their cognitive as well as social and emotional milestones, but to really meet each child where that child is in their development and where their interests go. So it takes a lot of training for the teachers and frankly, extra work, but it makes a real difference because the curriculum is much more child directed and helps them explore their interests and really get a hands-on perspective for an area that they have an interest in. And, it also enables the teachers to adapt the curriculum to the needs of each child. So, in any given classroom, there might be some children who are more advanced in one area and other children who are more advanced in a different area. And through the creative curriculum, the teachers are able to make sure that each child is met and challenged at their own individual level.
Now, I was thinking, is there a child that kind of stands out in your mind that has really thrived from your early development program?
Well, one of my favorite stories is actually one of our little warrior children. And this was the child of a wounded warrior. And when she came to us, she was about 2 and had not been diagnosed with any issues, but very quickly, the teachers noticed that, she really had very few words and was not interacting in ways that would be expected for a child of that age. And the as you can imagine, kind of talking to parents about a situation like that is a bit of a challenge because nobody, wants to hear, we're noticing some things that might need checking. So, that's, I think, one of the special things about our team is they really have the capacity and the empathy to work with each parent on something like that. And in this case, talk to the parent about needs that we were seeing, and we're able to help the parent find a pediatrician, with expertise in these particular areas to make a diagnosis. And then we were able to start working with early intervention, right in our center. And that's one of the great things that we do is bring the therapist directly into the classroom. So no child is being stigmatized by being pulled out. And to the students in the classroom, it's just another teacher. I mean, they don't know the difference between a teacher and a therapist. But it really makes a huge difference because, a child might be eligible for 1 or 2 hours of therapy a week, but the teachers are with that child 40 or 50 hours a week. And so the therapists can help ensure that the teachers understand behaviors that need to be reinforced. And, within about 7 months, she had progressed so far that she was no longer even eligible for therapy. And, by the time she reached the pre-kindergarten age, she was kind of the, I guess you could call it the hostess of the classroom. And every time, someone would come in, she would run over to greet them and, just talk to them and share what was going on. And, it really emphasized to me the importance of having those professionals who can really spot things and then make sure that the interventions happen.
I mean, 7 months, it definitely kind of says a lot about your program here. So how many kids are you guys helping in the DMV area?
So in our child development programs, we serve about 700 children between our 4 child development centers and then 3 Head Start centers. And then we also provide respite care services for about another 150 children.
Okay.
And this is a huge need that a lot of people don't realize. Having a child with disabilities is a huge risk factor for families staying together, divorce, abuse. I'm sure you've read, stories in the paper because they come out. And one of the things that we do is we have a respite care program so that parents can get a break from caregiving and their children get the services and supports they need, and they can just work on their own relationship, be together, nap, whatever the need is.
Take a break. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow. So if somebody's listening to this and they really love Easterseals and what you guys are able to do for these children, and they have a child that's in need, how would they get in touch with you guys or learn about your programs or, get involved in some way?
The easiest thing to do is to just go to our website and you can see all the information about our programs. And that's Easterseals. So E as in Edward, S as in Sam, E as in Edward, A as in Apple, L as in Larry.org. And, that has information about all the programs and, contact information for each program. So, people can just click through and an email will automatically come.
Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit. You have so many, and that's exactly why you're like, go to the website, because you have so many wonderful programs that you have going on. But I want to touch on a couple of them. So I want to talk about the adult day services that you have, because I think that's very important.
Well, yeah, thank you for asking about that. Because as I shared, for me personally, that was something that was special and, that I had never even heard of, frankly. And a lot of people haven't. So what it is we have a program where we're licensed at the level of a nursing home, but no one stays overnight. So every day people come in for activities, good nutritious meals that meet any particular dietary requirements that they might have, like, low sodium or, easy to chew or whatever the need might be, fun activities, socialization, and a very high level of medical care. There's an RN and LPNs on staff, so their blood pressure is being checked, their blood sugar is being checked, they're being evaluated. One of the things we see for a lot of people who aren't trained professionals, the signs of a stroke aren't always obvious. And we are watching out for people every day and making sure that if anything's changing, we're helping them get the medical attention they need to make sure that it really doesn't deteriorate.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because, generally people think of early intervention as children, but it's really the same thing in all of our programs. When we can help someone before a condition has gotten too severe, it makes the treatment much easier and better. The same thing with employment support. If we can help someone get a job before they've, spiraled into homelessness or addiction, that just makes it much, much easier and better.
Right. So if somebody was interested in having, their mother, father, aunt, uncle participate in one of these day services, what does it look like? What's a typical day look like for them?
So participants have a choice. We have a fleet of wheelchair accessible vans that pick people up. Or, if someone needs to go to work before the van run, they can drop their loved one off. And, as people arrive, usually it's breakfast time and some activities. Then usually there are some physical activities that would come next, things like chair exercise or Zumba. It's a lot of fun. I'll tell you, if anyone wants to volunteer, we are even having Zoom volunteerism, and you can be part of. Personally, I love to go and be part of the chair yoga, because I find after about 8 hours a day on Zoom, I'm sore. And then there'll be some more cognitive type activities like word games, current events. Often there's like a group activity like cooking project or an art project. But one of the things that, again, tying into that point about the person-centered care, nothing is absolutely prescribed or required. So, we really work to break the participants up into groups and meet individual interests. We'll often have like a devotional group if somebody's interested in that. Or at some of our centers, we have a number of people whose native language is Spanish, Spanish group. And it's pretty amazing, because then we have people who are not native Spanish speakers, but want to learn something new. And, it's wonderful to see somebody who's 85 saying, I want to learn Spanish, and they go to that Spanish group.
I love it. These days, that sounds like a lot of fun. You got chair yoga, you learned Spanish. Oh my gosh.
And, and then at the end of the day, again, there's a van home, or if people need their loved one to be there longer, if they're not home from work in time, then they can pick up, later in the day. And, what we find, we always hear that, family members and loved ones say, they have dinner and they fall asleep. And it's like, it's been a full day and an exciting day. And that's really the goal. It's to have fun.
Oh my gosh. So can you tell me a little bit, I don't want to let you go without talking a little bit about your veteran program that you have. And you have a few. So
we do.
I know. Can you just touch on, maybe one or two of them?
Yeah, I think, the key ones that I would talk about are our Veterans Employment Program and then our Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic. So we provide a broad variety of employment support services for veterans as well as military family members. And a big part of our focus as an organization is really making sure that nobody is left behind. And so we really make sure that in our programs, we're serving veterans regardless of their discharge status. Like often, government funded programs are not allowed to serve veterans who have a less than honorable discharge. But unfortunately, it can become a catch-22, because people have gotten a less than honorable discharge because of, untreated or undiagnosed mental health issues. And then they're not able to get the support services that they need to help them succeed and thrive after they've left the service.
I never knew that.
And so, two of our programs on the employment side, we operate the Veteran Staffing Network, which is really designed to provide coaching and placement services to all veterans and military family members, as well as helping transitioning service members get ready to transition. But it's really designed also as a business-friendly program where we are operating like a placement agency, kind of like a Kelly or a Manpower or Russell Reynolds, and looking to companies to hire us just like they'd hire one of them to help them find great talent, with the key distinction that all of the individuals that we're placing are veterans and military family members. And so it's really an awesome program. So if any of your listeners, are business owners or operators, who use staffing agencies, I'd say, please give us a try, because we have a great track record of delivering extremely high quality talent. And we work really hard, as I said, to make sure nobody's left behind. So part of that is also, where necessary, working with government support. We are a grantee of the U.S. Department of Labor for the Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program, which enables us to provide increased support for homeless veterans, formerly incarcerated veterans. And it's, really special to see, people who have sometimes kind of lost hope turn around and thrive. And it was really through our work with the Veterans Employment that we decided to start our Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic. And basically what was happening is we were serving a number of veterans and military family members where we could see they were exhibiting symptoms of mental illness. And, in that case, we really can't place someone successfully until they've had treatment. And of course, we had a lot of partnerships and would refer people out. But there's such a delay and such a demand for mental health care and, frankly, not enough supply. And so we would often lose people because they couldn't get the care they needed on a timely basis. And so we were fortunate to partner with the Cohen Veterans Network to create the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at Easterseals so we could provide high quality care on a timely basis. And it's really been amazing. We've been operating now for about 4 years and have amazing outcomes data on the reduction in symptoms of PTS and depression and anxiety. We're fully CARF accredited. And, it's something that we really see as a huge need in the broader community as well. So one of the things that we're really working on is creating a sister clinic, leveraging that expertise to serve the mental health needs of the broader community, because it's truly, especially in the COVID era, become a crisis.
Yeah, it really has. So is there anybody that you can think of that is really stands out to you that has thrived from this program?
Well, one of the families that we've served is actually through our Little Warrior program. And I mentioned that a little bit before, but what it is serving children of wounded warriors to help them get, high quality child development and ensure that the parents can focus on recovery and rehabilitation. Well, one of the individuals that we're serving actually is the widow of a wounded warrior who unfortunately took his own life. And mom didn't even know she was pregnant until after he passed away.
Oh, wow.
And, she started through the Little Warriors program. But one of the things we're really trying to do is make sure that we're, serving all the needs of our clients. And so the center, the Child Development Center, let her know about the Cohen Clinic to help her get additional mental health care support as well. And it really makes a huge difference, and it enables her, to be a better mom as well.
Wow. I mean, when you say you guys are all inclusive, you really are. I love everything that you guys are doing. And this is just kind of a few of the programs that you have. So I hope everybody just goes onto your website and really takes a good amount of time to look to all of the wonderful things that you're doing. So I know there's going to be a lot of people like myself. I'm listening to you. You're giving me like all of this great information. I'm like, how can I help? I know you have an upcoming event. It's called Bright Stars. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, this is really a wonderful and special event. So it's actually officially titled the Bright Stars Night at the Circus, presented by M&T Bank. And what we do is buy out a night of the circus and then work with sponsors to help raise funds. And those funds both support our programs and enable the sponsors to attend the circus. But also, part of what makes it really special is they enable our program participants to attend. And not, people think of it as, the circus, nice. But it's really special for our program participants for two reasons. One, of course, we're serving a lot of individuals from low-income families who might not otherwise be able to go. But two, for a lot of our participants, like children who maybe have autism or wounded warriors, sometimes they're not comfortable going to a big public event because, either they feel like they're going to be stared at, or if their child gets overstimulated and then, starts to flap, they're going to get the side eye from their neighbor. And so because this is a buyout, everyone is in the same boat. We're really enjoying it all together, and it really creates a feeling of inclusion and community. And so, families are supporting, our sponsors are supporting our families. They're supporting, our programs, because the fundraise support all of our programs all year round. And it's just really amazing and creates an amazing feel.
So if people come onto your website now, can they still sign up to be a sponsor?
Absolutely. Yes. They can see it through the website, and also, or they can go direct to brightstarsdc.org, and that takes you directly to the Bright Stars page.
Now, if somebody just wanted to donate straight to your organization, do you have a donation button on your website for them?
We do. It's right at the top of the ecl.org page, or you can go direct to donate.ecl.org and you'll get there directly.
So I know that some people are going to be really excited to follow you guys on social media. Can you tell me your handles?
Yeah, we have on Facebook, Easterseals DCMDVA, on LinkedIn as well, and on Twitter. And then also the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic is on Facebook and Twitter, and the Veteran Staffing Network is on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Oh, perfect. So, Jon, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us this evening. But before I let you go, I want to know, is there anything that we haven't covered that you would want people to know?
Well, thank you. I think first, thank you for having me today.
Of course.
The biggest thing that I would want people to know is really that Easterseals wants you to see the possibilities. And, when we talk about a hopeful, inclusive community, that is our biggest differentiator, is being a source of hope. And for anyone who comes to us, we really want to be a place where there's no wrong door. And even if we don't offer a particular service that a family needs, really listening to them and helping ensure that they get to the right support, and not just saying, sorry, we don't do that, goodbye. And, that's where partnerships in the community are so critical. And that's a huge part of our work, is, just really building those partnerships.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I've had a fantastic time listening to all of the wonderful things that you guys are doing for the community. And I can't wait to hear about this event that's coming up in January. It sounds so fun. So thank you so much, Jon, for being with us this evening. And then I want to thank you to all the listeners for tuning in to another episode of A Community in Caring. Until next time. If you would like to learn more about our organization, please follow us on Facebook at Truman Charities or Instagram at Jamie_Truman Charities, or check out our website, trumancharities.com. I hope you enjoyed listening and hearing stories of selflessness and caring. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.